Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Boutwell at perfectgardens.com. So today we had a great question by one of our subscribers, Mike. Mike, thank you so much for posting a question. He asked me to explain how you can increase your yield 400% with just using PandaFilm. Well, the reason why you can increase your yield 400% is because you can use it to harvest 4 times a year versus just once growing outdoors.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We got our $2.99 membership, and we have a VIP if you need a little more one-on-one. Link down in the description.
How? By doing something called light depthing. I actually am going to be including about 3 or 4 more videos from a grow diary that I did from one of my grows a couple years ago in King City, California. Yeah, in these 4 videos, it's going to be talking about how to schedule for blacking out year-round. It's going to be talking about understanding the blacking out schedule, different types of greenhouses, and different stuff you can use in addition to harvest properly outdoors. So once again, to just kind of explain this, how Panda Paper can increase your ROI or increase your yield 400% is because most of the time, people can only harvest 1 time a year, sometime in September, or if they're really good, or maybe they have an autoflower strain, they will harvest 1 time before in May time period, before the regular season gets started. By using Panda Paper, you can actually grow and harvest year-round, especially if you're in a growing environment that is relatively warm and somewhat dry, and it's not wet or humid, but it's warmer, because that's really what the plants need to put on that yield. And the Panda Paper is used to control the veg process or the flowering process. So say you just have 2 greenhouses, greenhouse A and greenhouse B. Greenhouse A could be on an 18-6 schedule, so 18 hours on, 6 hours off to keep them in veg. And you're not going to want that light shining to everyone outside in the whole world unless you're in a legal grow. If you're a legal grow, you wouldn't care. And if you're in Monterey, California, you'll see many greenhouses having their lights on all the way till 1 or 2 in the morning, and that's because they're keeping their plants in vegetative growth. If you're doing a guerrilla growing, or you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're kind of doing the same thing, you're still in the black world or in the gray area, well, you're going to be using Panda Paper to be keeping your plants in veg. And then when you want to send them over into flower, well, all you do is just pull the Panda Paper off and let them flower naturally. And as long as there's enough light outdoors, if there's at least 10.5 hours of light, up to 12 to 12.5 hours of light, your plants can flower outdoors. And you just use that Panda Paper if for some reason, if it's going past the May time frame period or June time frame period, then you use the Panda Paper to make sure your plants stay in that flowering light cycle, the 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So I hope this all made sense. You can use Panda Paper outdoors to keep them in veg and to keep the light inside, so it's not shining outside, especially if you're in the black world or in the gray world. If you're in the white, Monterey, California, doesn't matter. You go out, check them out. Greenhouses will be on till 1, 2 in the morning, keeping the plants in vegetative growth. Then when it goes to flowering, you use the Panda Paper once again, especially in the months, the summertime frame period months where you're getting above 15.5 hours of light outdoors. You're using the Panda Paper to make sure those plants are only getting roughly 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness so that they're flowering. In the videos after this, I am giving you access to my video diary or video journal of one of our outdoor guerrilla grows in King City back between 2013 to 2016 roughly. And each of those videos talks slightly differently about different things with light and how to create a schedule and all that other stuff. Good morning, everyone. Today we are here in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. A lot of people, I feel, don't really comprehend how powerful the sun is. I want to talk today about sunset and sunrises, and then also civil twilight sunrises and sunset. In indoor flowering or indoor growing, a lot of people recommend that you have a minimum of 16 hours of light keep the plants in veg? Well, during May, June, and July is the time period when plants vegetate in Boulder and pretty much everywhere in the world, or at least the medicinal cannabis plants. I mean, they stay in veg. In California, where I'm from, around June 1st to June 4th, we have about 14 and a half hours of daylight. During that time, plants will stay in veg. If you put them into flowering any time before that, they will go into flowering. When you look at the time, it's 14 and a half hours, but when you include the twilight time, it's 15 and a half hours. When it begins to signal to the plants, okay, there's enough light, let's go ahead and stay in vegetative state. So when you go through this period, the plants, right when they drop below 15 and a half hours is when they begin to start flowering again. So as you can see right here, this is the blackout period, the blacking, and in May we start with this. And during July, the plants will naturally start to flower after the 24th of July. What I like to do is I really like to use the outside light to flower year round, because I can flower in January, February, March, April, even half of May. And if I do blacking out, I can continue through my cycle in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, continue my cycle of flowering, so I never stop production. When you force something in the black world for a long period of time, it's difficult for people to work together and share ideas and collaborate. Right now, a lot of people have been growing indoors, so they're carrying that same mindset of indoor thought process to greenhouse and outdoor. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. It's going to make a better world, in the sense, in a better growing environment. Although, when you think of efficiency wise, you need flower first flower. Efficiency of real good solid sunlight. This twilight isn't perfect, but it does start the cycle. Whether it starts at these early hours, we might not think it makes a big difference, but a plant sees that early light. So when we come through, we're going to be able to flower and use supplemental light in January, February. We even might black out even possibly in November and December and January, because how little the light is. And, having a bright light in a dark area still going to shine through for a couple hours. People might notice. So you might want to be blacking out in November, December, and January. But in February, March, and April, May, you'll be able to turn the lights on right when the sun's coming up and turn the lights off right when the sun's coming down. As long as giving less light than 15 hours, your plants will flower. Of course, if you give it more light, they're going to be in vegetative state. You're going to see those traits slightly longer, might get extended out. Yeah, by cutting it 12 and 12, blacking out, and just being efficient as much as possible, you're going to have a very, very successful year-round growing, using very little power, blacking out only a few times a year, and being able to get as much of your life back as possible. Hey everyone, so this is a website I use to go ahead and track the rise, set, and twilight tables for the entire year. What I do is I click on here, I come down, and I just enter where I'm currently living. So right now it's Boulder, Colorado. I'm going to go ahead and compute table. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to start to add up the total amount of daylight per day in this area, and then I'm going to map that out throughout the entire year. From this point forward, I will be able to adjust to bring in the successful harvest. Thank you so much, and have a great grow.
This is going to sound insane, but I'm going to share this with you. And I actually heard of farmers are so in tune with their crops that they know when something's not right